Welcome to the Elevating La Cultura podcast, a space where I talk with Latinas who are passionate about what they do and are willing to share that passion with others to change the narrative, especially for the next generation. Each season is centered around different topics, but all with a Latina perspective. Welcome to Season 10, where I'm talking with Latinas who have founded nonprofits. I'm so excited to share these powerful conversations. So vámonos, and let's get into it. Clarybelle Camacho is a Chicago youth teaching artist, wife, mother, and community leader with a passion to give and be involved in the community. She states, "I am committed to learning, collaborating, and giving 110% in what I do and who I am." She is the founder of A Beautiful Project, a faith-based organization with a mission to build a society where every young woman can realize their potential and achieve their goals through volunteer work and educational workshops. Clarybelle first began her journey and passion in community work in 2017 by gifting prom dresses to teens in need, and it has blossomed into something so much more. Clarybelle and A Beautiful Project team will teach you the importance of serving the community, team building activities, and lead you to create a strong team through forming bonds and connections with each other. Our goal is to make a difference in the lives of our communities and volunteers, one project at a time. Let's get into the episode. Hey, I am so thrilled to be chatting with you. I feel like it's been a few years, maybe a year or two since we
Yes.
connected in person. But from that moment when we connected through our friend Jasmine from the Firehouse Dream, we were both on a panel together, and the panel discussion was so good. And I was like, I feel honored to be next to you and all the stories and wisdom that you shared. And so with this season, I was like, I got to get you on. I got to get you on the podcast. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Karina, for that. You also were throwing some super cool gems and so honored to be on your podcast. But my name is Clarybelle Camacho. I'm from Chicago and I run a nonprofit called A Beautiful Project.
Yes, I have really been wanting to be intentional about the nonprofits that I have on this season. And so I'm so thankful that we get to share about yours. But I'd love to know how you got started. What was the inspiration with starting this nonprofit?
Yeah, so of course, like any mission, right? Any a big community group thing, there's a big story behind it. But I started this at a young age. I'm 31 now. I don't care about saying my age. We're all living beautifully. 31 now, but I started this mission when I was 17. And it didn't blossom until 7 years ago, so it took time. But A Beautiful Project is about serving our community. We are centered on serving people outside of our homes, outside of the four walls of churches. And so I like to say that we're like the hands and feet of Jesus outside. And so we're a faith-based organization, and we empower women to love on each other, to need each other, to support each other, but to also serve each other. And so that's where A Beautiful Project stems from. It stems from that 17-year-old me that wanted community, that wanted to be seen. And so what we do outside is to show that, right? To show whether it's with like our coat drives, whether it's with our food drives, and so people know that they're seen, that they're valued. And so that's where that stemmed from. At the age of 17, it was a little seed that was planted in me.
Wow. So I think that is an amazing story and something that I find so encouraging, because a lot of times on this podcast, we talk about the youth and how we are pouring into the next generation. And I always love to hear and elevate stories of young adults doing amazing things and starting something and then growing it. And I think there's this maybe I'm a millennial. I am in
Yeah.
my later 30s, and
Still looking good. Still looking good.
thanks. But there can be sometimes this tension between a generation and your younger generation that is coming up. There could be some tension in not believing in them or not believing that they could actually do something and grow. And that's like limiting their potential. And I'm just like, no, 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 let's not do that. So, how was the support around you when you were 17 that continued to keep you going and to continue growing?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I tell people all the time, if you want to start something, start it, right? At 17, I didn't know that this was going to blossom to be a community and an outreach that it is today. And so my first thing was a blog. I started as a blog, Karina. This was a blog. And so I remember feeling at that age, I know when you're that youth, you're kind of like, where am I going? What I do? What am I going to do in college? Like, who am I? You start to question yourself a lot. And so I did that. I had a lot of like reflection times with God, with myself. And, I remember God telling me, like, just start like a community. Like you've always wanted community. You've always wanted, to be heard. And just a little background is I grew up in a very toxic environment. Like my parents were always, there's a lot of domestic violence, a lot of alcohol abuse going on. And so my siblings and I'm the third out of the four of us. And so we kind of fend for ourselves and we're very independent. And so all to say is I didn't have a lot of support within my home, that this was something that I did on my own, but I started as a blog. And what I mean by that is I started to express myself, my feelings, right? My goals. Didn't even know what that meant at the time. I've always been a passionate kind of girl, always been really deep with words and my feelings. And so I started just kind of blogging and writing. And there's where I grew the community and the following on Facebook. I started a page and just went with it, right? And, I started to grow this community of girls and I said, okay, we got this community. Now what? Now what do we do, God? I created this thing. Now what do you want me to do with this? And that's where the act of service came in. We can all serve each other. And so our first project ever was a prom dress drive. I don't know what it was, Karina, when girls got together and got ready, right? The makeup, the hair, it's just so raw, so real, right? It makes you feel like, oh, so grateful to be a woman, right? When you're all getting ready and you see all your imperfections and stuff. And so that was my first ever project. And the support that I had was my two cousins. And we didn't even know what the mission was. Like we had no idea what we were doing, but God is so good that way that he perfects you through it. You just got to say yeah. And so I said yes to the blog. I jumped in and said, okay, we're going to do this prom drive and collect all these dresses from our community and our friends and then give it out to people in need. So how did I do that? We opened up email and I sent it to my high school. Hey, to the dean, whatever. I have some prom dresses and me and my cousins want to give it to the school. I'm thinking this is like a small thing. Like we're just being cute and just sending dresses. The emails that I got were insane. It was, teen moms. Um, One of the girls that we were able to give a dress and pay her prom ticket was her house had burned down. Her family's house had burned down that week. On top of that, it was a sex traffic survivor, two sex traffic survivors that lived in a home here in Chicago. And so when this came to me, I was like this is bigger than me. Like I need support. I need to figure out how I'm going to grow this. Like if we can do dresses, what else can we do? And so my sister, my cousins and I, we sat down and kind of brainstormed, oh, we could do food banks and we could do food drives. And we were just thinking our school, our hometown, Cicero. I wasn't thinking outside of Cicero. And so it started like that. It started with a seed and it started with two cousins and a sister and we just took off.
That is
It's
amazing.
a lot to unload.
It is. And it just goes to show that it doesn't have to be all planned out at the beginning. It just has to be that one act of passion, that one act of kindness, and putting it out in the world and seeing the need like come in. I
Yeah.
I think like I love that you said that you started with a blog and you started like just writing some stuff and putting it out there because I feel like that's how everything starts. Like, you start with an idea, you start sharing that idea, you start getting momentum, you start getting other people that want to be involved, that want to join, that like create something that, like you said, is much bigger than what it started as. And that just goes to show, like, you put a little bit of time and energy and vulnerability out there, like, the flood of vulnerability that's going to come back to you is
Yeah,
just goes to show that spaces like this where you can see people, like see the humanity of people, is so needed, and it just takes one person to
it
make a
does.
difference.
Yes, it does.
So how has so like you said, you didn't start as like a full nonprofit. What was the journey from that first event, that first drive, and getting all the emails and the feedback to saying, okay,
Yeah.
I'm ready to make this official. Let's start this nonprofit.
Yes, I didn't start the non. We've been actively working in the community for 7 years. I didn't start, being under a nonprofit till 2 years ago, because I didn't know. I didn't know what I was doing, and you have to get mentors. And so I had people that were on my side were like, you need to get the grants and you need to get the funding with this. Like, there's so much you could do, which is still hard. I mean, you still get the grants, you still have the applications. I don't know. You know a little bit about that, Karina. It is insane. But there is money out there for us. So, look for someone is in the same kind of wavelength as you and see if how can they help you. And I'm really big on collaborating and getting mentorship, so they can help me with with the resources. But ultimately, I had to invest in myself the first couple years. That was investing in myself. But the most beautiful thing about this is I know this came from God because people were just showing up. Volunteers were just, if I did a little post and I wasn't making flyers or anything, nothing was fancy. Like today, it's just kind of it's so easy and it's so smooth. Create your flyer, put it out there, tap on the link, register. I didn't do any of that stuff. And literally was like praying that people would just show up and we're all at the park with a bag of groceries. And so we put it on Facebook, like, hey, we're going to be out in district, whatever park, come out from 9 to 2. And we just sat there and people showed up. But not only the people from the community, but people to help. People want to help. And then there's where I realized, oh no, people do care. People do love this. This is beautiful, which is why the name A Beautiful Project came, because it changed 1,000 times too. And so we settled on that, but yeah, I do believe that this was, a gift that came from God in my storm. And I was like, who am I? Where am I going? What do you want from me? I know I have a passion to give, but what do I do with that? And so, this is, where this came from.
So within the past 7 and 2 years,
Hmm.
how have you come across hardships or like things that you didn't even think that you would have to deal with in this space, and how have you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think everybody that's in leadership, you're going to go through hardships. And I think the most difficult and challenging part of this is like the leadership part. My yes and my no's need to be clear. And I need to set those boundaries for myself. So that's been challenging, but I think there's a list of things. The funding, right? The applications sometimes gets challenging or does get challenging. If there's no money in the bank, Karina, then, things stop. We have to put a hold on, or we have to go back into the drawing board and figure out what's the next move. Um, which is why we started doing we do like monthly mental health is really important to us. And so with us giving so much of ourselves, I found it a way to kind of get professionals to come in and help, pour into us. So, our leadership, my team, we started at 3 leaders. Now we're at 8, 9 leaders strong that believe in the mission. And that's another challenge, is making sure the people that are on your side believe it just as much as you do. That if I fall short, or if I'm not able to continue this mission, or something happens, that they're there, that they also believe in that mission. And it's hard um, to get people to see what you see, and everyone is kind of doing the same thing. Like today you see a lot of podcasts or you see a lot of women groups, and I try not to look at that like my challenge or my competition. I'm like, hey girl, what can we do? How can we collaborate? Because I think there's it's something beautiful with numbers, right? And you connect, we connect, our communities connect. How much can we reach? And so I try not to always look at my challenges or obstacles like something that I can't get through. I always kind of look at it like, this is there. How can what's the game plan? How can we, um, get mentors to help us through it? What are the people we need, on our side for this? And so, yeah, so, I mean, we're going to have challenges. I think every season is different. This season for sure, everyone is busy. What is wrong with the world? My team is busy, like in their personal life, which is great, like relationships and marriage and kids, which is good. And so, we really just need to come back into the drawing board and figure out what's the next move for us.
Yeah, I think this year has been a whirlwind. Like I feel like we just started 2024 and here we
Oh
are
my God.
at the end of it. I don't know what happens. Every day I'm just like, oh, what just happened yesterday? Like I can't even remember.
Can you believe October is like in 2 weeks?
I know. Yeah, but
And
well, by the time this
I
airs,
know.
it'll probably be
Yeah,
October
October.
and we'll be getting ready for our Halloween or something.
Right.
But yeah, I think that the past probably 4 years have been a major shift in just, um, I mean, making a hard stop during the years of the pandemic, making a hard stop and really focusing inward on like what people needed and what we needed as individuals. And then when things started picking up, like realizing that we were going at full force again, and then trying to figure out like how to balance the two. Like it's just hard. I think life in general with everything that is going on in the world, like it is just hard
Yeah.
to balance mental health, understanding your own self, trying to build businesses, like all of it is just a lot, especially if you are a parent and you're raising the next generation while you're trying to figure your life out for yourself. It
Self.
is it is hard, but I think that goes to show how it is like so important to always be willing to pivot and to go back to the drawing board when needed, when it's not working out or when things need to shift, and collaborating with your team in order to create something with a strong foundation. I think that is so important to always
Hmm.
be evaluating, reevaluating your business, whether you're in the nonprofit space or in the for-profit space as an entrepreneur, even in the corporate space. Like you should always be evaluating where you're at in your life and where you want to go and grow.
Right.
Um, so, with that, I think how has the past, like, how have the events and the things that you have been able to provide for your community, like how do you go about planning the year and then collaborating with other organizations?
Yeah. So, with a team, everyone has their strengths and their duties. And so if you want to have a nonprofit, make sure you have people that believe in the mission. And then, I tell people all the time, I tell young people, I also work with youth. I tell them all the time, if you want to find yourself, go serve somebody. God will find you in that. And you kind of figure out your strengths. You kind of figure out who you are, right, with people and relationship and what you like to do, what you don't like to do. And so I think I'm really big on service. So, um, so we have somebody in the team who loves to calendar plan, and she's like the agenda girl. And so she sends out like simple as tomorrow's yellow day, guys. Like, what do we think about that? And so, um, she helps push what's happening in the world and how can we relate. It's good to be relatable too, right? What's going on in the world. That also grows and it grows your community, but also you can see what's happening outside and what is the need outside. And so like this month is suicide, prevention month. And so, I found an organization, a good friend of mine, Liza, she runs, a youth organization out in Aurora who, it's a dance team. And so we figured out how can we connect with them and her mission, her daughter, committed suicide at 16. And, she started this dance team in a way to teach youth to express themselves, to find another healthy way, right, to talk and to build, relationships with each other. And so we reached out to Liza and said, how can we serve you? We know that this month. It's probably really hard on her too, right? And so how can our team help you? What do you need from us? It's as simple as reaching out to people and saying, hi, my name is, this is what I do. How can I serve you? I look at service as a gift, and gifts are to be given away. And so you can never escape service. If you have a talent, you're constantly going to be serving people. And so, I don't take this lightly. I don't take service, the service that we do to the community lightly. And so it's simple as reaching out to these people, connecting, networking. Oh, I tell people all the time, women all the time, go out, meet people, network with people. If I didn't go to the panel, we wouldn't have met. I wouldn't be sitting here, right? And so it's hard. I know sometimes it's hard to get out there and show your face, right? But we need it. Everybody's story is different. Everybody's story matters. And so, you have to, uh, constantly remind yourself that your story matters, that you are, put on here to use your strengths. And like I tell my team all the time, if you follow us on Instagram, you see everything that we do. Honestly, I probably do like 15% of all the stuff that we do because everyone else takes a percent. Everyone has their strengths. And so I can't build the balloon garland. I can't make the food, so, um, everyone has their strengths and putting it together, is what matters and what I feel and believe that we need to do as a community.
Yes. I
Yeah.
I really appreciate the intention behind not just what you do in the community, but how you lead a team. I think it's so important to
It is.
be able to trust that everyone is capable of doing their own thing and bringing their own strengths. And so I don't know. I very much appreciate you sharing that part of the nonprofit process, is that
Yeah.
you really have to rely on your team because it is a lot of work. When you are in a place of service, it takes a lot out of you emotionally. And having one of the things that is very helpful is having the people and the support and the team around you to be able to um, lean on each other for that care, for that need that we need to like keep pouring into each other. But how, apart from running the business and the nonprofit and leading the team, do you pour into yourself and take care of yourself so that you can be intentional in leading and serving the community?
Yes. Mentors. I have mentors that really pour into me and I have to make time for them. Um, when I'm feeling like in an empty cup, because I do a lot, and my plate sometimes is very full, and I serve a lot. Um, I let my first I'm aware of it, and you know it in your body, and I've said this before. You know you need the healing and you need the help. You feel it in your body, and so I let my team know first, and so that's kind of a sign that they're like, okay, we got you. We got, which is why you have to have a team that believes in the mission as well, not in you, but in the mission, like loves you, but believes in the mission. And so I let my team know first. I seek my mentors. I have to sit down and just say everything, like everything that's in my heart, in my mind, or I'm exhausted or I'm tired, for them to kind of to lead you in what the next step you need to do as a leader, as a nonprofit, as a mom, as a wife. And so, I sit with them. I sit with people that can talk to me, that can pour into me. But I'm really big on working out. Working out, I tell people all the time, saved my life. I'm also a part-time fitness instructor, and I do that for fun. That is just a passion project of mine, a fun hobby that I love to do. So yeah, I work out. I'm intentional about what I put in my body. Um, all the fun stuff, all the water, all the getting my good hours of sleep, because if I don't have good sleep, then I am a brat. And so, but you have to know that about yourself, you know? I tell my young people all the time, spend time with yourself, get away from your friends, get off the phone, like go spend time with yourself so you can figure who you are, so that when you come around a group of people, they don't tell you who you are because you know who you are. You spend time with yourself, you know? And so I've had a lot of alone times, a lot of mentorship times, um, and networking. You network, meet people. But yeah, I tend to isolate myself when I need it. When I know that I need it, I feel it in my body. I isolate myself and like do nothing, literally nothing. Like maybe just watch garbage TV because I love garbage TV. It's so bad, but yeah.
Girl, same, same. I am on those reality TV
Girl,
shows
me
and
too. What's wrong with me?
yes. Oh, so good though. But it's like
It's
you
so
can
good.
shut off your brain and just kind of like take it in. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I
Reality
can't get
TV.
enough.
Yeah. Me either. Me either. I've watched so many different things. But yeah, that's some of the things that I do.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think it is so important to be able to have self-awareness as a
Hmm.
leader. And I really value the fact that you said, like, you need to spend time with yourself so that we know who we are as individuals and do not necessarily get swayed or influenced by outside
Other
things.
people.
And I think that is so important during the formative years, especially, but even in adulthood, like we change and shift so much throughout our lives. And I mean, that's valuable as an adult. Like I'm almost 40 and I feel like, oh, I'm going to be stepping into a new decade. Like let me figure out what I want for that decade. What do I want? How do I want to grow? How do I want to be
Right.
intentional about who I spend my time with? And um, it takes intention to be able to block out that time because we are so surrounded by all the loudness that is around us to say like no, I'm going to spend what 10 minutes 15 minutes with nothing, no AirPods, no phone, just going for a
Nothing.
walk,
Yeah.
sitting under a tree. And it is so hard, like even for me it's hard, but I think it's so important to be doing that consistently throughout our lives. um, so as you plan and do the work out like all the offerings that you have, what do we have like coming up that we can be like helping with, looking forward
Yeah.
to, promoting? Because
Yes.
we're coming into the fourth quarter of the year, and
Hmm.
we know that the holidays are really important for nonprofits. It's a busy time, and so what is coming up for you?
Yes, it is a busy time, and we love this time because we get to really be out in the community and see where the needs at, right? So Christmas is coming, Thanksgiving is coming. Um, so this month in October is coming up, and we have collaborated. We're really big on collaboration. Collaborate with the people around you that believe in you. You believe in their mission, and we're going to collaborate with Yo Soy Ella. I know you've met Sarah too. She was on the panel, and we are going to do a meal for my sister. And October is a domestic violence month, and so awareness. And so we are teaming up with them and serving about 50 women um, with a meal. with some food and some encouragement, and just to tell them, hey, we see you, we're here for you, and you're not alone. And so our team and her team are going to gather with the Marinated Kitchen as well. She's going to be making the food, and we're just going to sit and eat with them. It's something so special to sit with people. And eat, right? So vulnerable too, right? But I remember when I was looking at the questions that you had sent me, and I was thinking too, I was like, wow, what has really inspired me? And I remember thinking, if you ask me on a surface level, I would say God has called me to do this. But if you ask me on a deeper level, I would say that young girl that just wanted to be seen and to be valued, is why I'm so inspired to do stuff like this. I just can't, I'm the kind of girl I can't sit on the sideline and just watch things just go. Like if I can help and there's something that I can do, I will do. And so, October 5th, I hope there's still spots available. I know they said it was the tickets were selling fast. It's free, but we want to keep account of who's coming. But October 5th, we're going to be out in the Logan Square community serving the women for domestic violence awareness, and just saying, hey, we're here, and we love you, and we have some goodie bags. So that's happening in October. And then November is our girls giving. So we try to all come together, and hope you can join us, Karina, to cook and get into a community, into a park, and serve, and just kind of give food out and say hi to people and just actually see them, and I know they're going through a storm, but we're here and we see you, and you'll get out of it. Some people just need a word of encouragement. It's really not, you don't have to go too far to help people. You can help your neighbors, you can help your family. So, that's going to happen in November. And then December, we always like to do a toy drive. And so we've been doing the kind of the same things every month, but I'm kind of itching for like new things and new correct collaborations. And so I'm hoping that the year coming, and then we have our vision board. Our vision board is our best project, like our favorite thing to do together. We can all sit down. We always get a big group of women in the community to come out, and we talk about goals and vision. We'll bring a speaker out, and she'll talk about the importance about setting and manifesting your goals. And so that is the end. So we have like 3, 4 big projects coming up. Um, but yeah, I hope you can be part of at least one of them.
Yeah, I think part of things, I think for a lot of people, like they want to help, they want to be like serving, they just don't know how to get involved or like what is coming up. Like we see events coming up and then we're like, oh, that's in a few weeks, but I don't know if I can help, or like that date doesn't
Right.
work, or
Yeah.
um oh, I feel like we also get in our head. Like we're just like, oh, they don't need me, like they're
They
already
have
doing
enough.
it. Yes.
Mhm.
So what
Mhm.
would you say to people who are like wanting to get involved but also apprehensive and like it's a new
Yeah.
thing for them?
No, I know. We're always looking for donations. We're always looking for, if you can come help, you can donate, right? Like I said, funding is what gets us really far. And so you can donate that way. You can, be part of, you know, anything that we post, you can be part of it. So if you're struggling, like they have enough people, I don't think I could be useful. You're very useful. You just being there, your presence being there is needed. You may give a word to someone that we probably can't relate to, or something that you can relate to somebody in the community that we can't relate to. Like I said before, everybody's stories matters, and everybody is needed. And so come out. It's always so good to have new faces and new people with different strengths. I love when people can be authentically themselves and walk in their truth. I love that. And so I feel like you can really see that with people when they serve each other, and they serve other people. You can kind of see, you really see how people are. And so I don't know, just come out. It's not scary. We'll love on you. We'll feed you. And then the beautiful thing about our nonprofit, and I think a lot too, but ours, is that like we've built this sisterhood that like is raw, it's real. We pray for each other, and we hold each other accountable. So, and we're always looking for new friends. You can sit with us. I tell the people all the time, you can sit with us, come hang out with us.
Yeah, that is encouraging. I think of myself as an introvert, and it can just be so intimidating when you're planning to go somewhere and
Hmm.
then the day comes and you're just like, "Ugh, I don't
I
know
don't really want to
anybody."
go.
But it's those environments that are just so welcoming and they just like love on you. Like I love creating those environments. And so I need to also be thoughtful that other people love creating those environments. And the more that we can network and connect with each other, the stronger that we will be, the more that we can lean on each other's strengths. I think that's another thing that people need to like just believe in themselves that they are
Right.
needed. And so I
Yeah.
am glad that you are encouraging the listeners to just get involved. Like, just go to an event, just go see how you can be helpful, even if it's just for a few hours. Like, it is so worthwhile.
It is worthwhile. And I was going to piggyback on that. We have a lot of, believe it or not, I have a lot of introverts in my team, but they work so good behind the scenes. They do so well. Some of the flyers that you see, they're the ones that, this is a funny story that I wanted to say, but I was in labor during, one of our drives, our baby shower drive in Pilsen. We were going to go with a whole bunch of trucks with Pampers and stuff like that. And I was 8 months, 9 months pregnant. And I was like, I can still do it. I'll go. Where I'm hosting this event with another organization, and I ended up in labor at 2 a.m. So I text the team and I was like, hey, I'm in labor. And that's where God was like, yeah, you're going to have to let the control go and they're going to have to figure it out. And I said, all the stuff is in my yard and someone has to come pick it up and figure it out. And they figured it out. And so, and a lot of them are introverts, and a lot of them said that was one of their favorites. They're one of their favorite projects to do. And so you have to get out there and you have to, and don't look like anybody else and don't compare yourself to anybody else. You be you. When you walk in you, we're going to love you, right? We're going to love you just the way you are. So, yeah, I wanted to share that we were talking about like, counting on your team, right? And so I think about it. A lot of my team don't like to be the face of things, but they do so well behind the scenes, and that is needed.
Mm,
I can't do this, but we need you, Karina. We need you to do this to share our stories. So I
yeah.
appreciate this. So thank
Oh
you.
my gosh. I love that. I love hearing stories like that. That's so fun.
Yeah.
Um, all right. Well, where can people find you, connect with you, reach out to you, share all the places?
Yes, you can follow us on Facebook at A Beautiful Project. And then you can follow us on Instagram. We're very engaged. We have a nice community on Instagram, very interactive. And so you can follow us on Instagram at team.abeautifulproject. And then our website is abeautifulprojectwix.com. But yeah, so I hope you guys, if you're from Chicago, come join us, come serve with us, come to our workshops. We're planning this 2025. Look at me jumping years. 2025 is to do more workshops and bring professionals in here to talk about mental health and all that good stuff, all the women things. And so we hope to see Karina as well, to have her on some of our projects. And so yeah, this fall is going to be very busy, so you can be part of it. Donate. Anything, everything is important, and share. Sharing is also a way to support us, right? Sharing our posts, and mentioning our name in a room to see how we can help other communities, and collaborating. Collaborate, girls. Everyone just collaborate with each other. We'll make a difference. We'll make a bigger impact when we collaborate.
Awesome. Ah, I love that. And to wrap it up, how or what advice would you give to the next generation? Like, if you could sum it up in like a few sentences, what is one piece of advice that you can send out to our listeners?
To our young people, I love you guys. Do not be hard on yourself. Believe in yourself. You don't need an army of people to believe in you. You just need one person. And no one in life has gone through anything without the help of someone else. So help, serve each other, and love on each other.
Mm, So good. Thank you so much for this
Thank
conversation.
you.
It has been a joy chatting with you. And yes, a collaboration is in our future.
Yes, let's do
And
it.
yeah, thank you so much. And we will see each other soon.
Yes, thank you, Karina.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's keep an eye out for next events hosted by a beautiful project that we can help out with this year. Okay, amigos, thank you so much for listening. There will be a new episode every Tuesday, so after you listen, feel free to take a screenshot to post on Instagram and tag at Elevating La Cultura, or send me a DM. You can also comment on our YouTube video if you're watching online. I always like to hear from people and how they resonate with the stories that I share. So, leave a review on Apple Podcasts so we can get more ears listening to these stories and we can continue elevating La Cultura. All right, enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening, y nos vemos next week. Bye.